What's going on YouTube? Guy in the backseat, Team Valley Games. Normally I would do videos like this on my computer with, images, but I figured I'd show that I actually have orcas of these too. Just as a bonus, anybody in my local area that knows me, you know me, I've told you to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you haven't, or you have, whatever, I know some of you have, some of you haven't, but the first one to call me and say that you watched this video will get their hands on 2 free tokens. Because everybody's playing Dragosec now. So that's a little prize for anybody around here in Tampa. Give me a call, and I might even throw in a free Dragosec Orca for fun. So, now that that's out of the way. The point is, this is kind of a Yu-Gi-Oh! News slash update slash whatever the crap you want to call it, because we really haven't had anything spectacular happen recently, at least in the TCG, aside from Dragon Rulers being crap. But, I am working on this deck too for Orca fun. Anyway, so moving on. What do we have to talk about? Well, in Japan, officially the card with the most artworks in the entire game now is Blue Eyes White Dragon. He now has another pretty shiny, awesome, flying in space, makes no freaking sense in the real space spec of the game, unless they really want to make him galaxy eyes in some way. Artwork. So we have a new Blue Eyes art. We probably won't have it for another forever. Because that's how artwork works. Like, we still don't have the other Dark Magician. That's technically another card, which is another reason why they haven't given it to us, so blah, 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 blah. But new Blue Eyes art. I have the Orca. Anybody wants it, let me know. Secondly, how much of an impact this chick is having on the format in Japan. Okay, so if you haven't noticed by now, because you've been living under a rock, Prophecy and Dragon Ruler, that's it. There's nothing else in the whole freaking game. Rogue decks have a chance only if they surprise you, but usually they have answers, which is the most frustrating thing in the world. This card is where Konami got silly. You see, this card is both problems in the same card. It's basically giving a boost to both decks, which shouldn't be possible, but somehow they did it. In short, she is a 0/0 level 1 tuner spellcaster light type that you can target her, summon Blue Eyes from the deck or graveyard or hand, or you can attack her, and if she's attacked, she goes to defense mode and stops the attack, summons a Blue Eyes from hand, deck, or graveyard. That's it. Yeah. So we're really not going to dwell on how much she's going to mess up the game, but the reason why she touches both decks in the same way and makes a problem is the fact that she's a spellcaster. So you can summon her off of, Judgment Day, if you have to, and basically have a monster that sits, and your opponent says, well, I can't attack the thing because they'll get a 3k beater, and I can't target the thing because they'll get a 3k beater, so where's my Dark Hole? Yeah, but that's in Prophecy. So Prophecy just runs another vanilla beater, and you probably would only play one, but you play like 2 of her. But still, it's silly that consistency gets added to a deck that doesn't need more consistency. Same in Dragon Rulers, is because this is a level 8 dragon, and granted it's not level 7. If it was level 7, holy crap. No excuses, Konami, that'd be stupid. But she can bring out a level 8, which means that you can bring out level 8s that you can tribute for naturally, even if you want to. So adding consistency to both decks was a problem, because I know that when this card launched and was legal in DOCG, all of a sudden there was a Prophecy and Dragon Ruler top, but each one had Blue Eyes in it. So don't forget to watch out for this card when we get the next structure deck. So pick up your copies. It's always going to be worth money. I mean, I've never seen a conditionless summon so easy. Like, I call it conditionless because literally you have to do nothing, or you have to plus. Because the big play is summon her, equip with Wonder Wand, pop her, or equip with Wonder Wand, summon the Blue Eyes, pop her, draw 2 cards. Or target her with a Wonder Wand, attack, I guess, if you want to, sink for 9. There's just too many options that she gives, because being a tuner on top of everything else just made her dumb. So that's on with the Yu-Gi-Oh! News, at least involving that card and that card. Moving on. Seal of Orichalcos. What does it have to do with anything? Well, last year we got announced around this time Legendary Collection Yugi's World, and that allowed a card that had only been allowed in the anime until now to be legal. Now, what did they do with the next Legendary Collection? They decided to give us 3 cards that weren't legal ever in any capacity, and give them to us. I don't have 2 of them. I don't have Blue Flame Swordsman or Harpy's Phoenix Formation. Harpy's Phoenix Formation, in my opinion, makes Harpies actually playable and a good competitive deck. Blue Flame Swordsman, we'll have to see what he does. If he still has his, you may reduce this monster's attack by 100 to increase the monster on the field's attack by 100 in his effect, that's stupid because there's no condition to it, so you can like do it. You can basically drop 18, pump 18 forever. It's pretty cool. But point is, Seal of Orichalcos, that let cards that had never been seen before be seen. This is Card of Last Will. Now, it did state in the disclaimer and everything that Card of Last Will not be legal because of its insane power level, but it's also a card that probably everybody thought would never see the light of day. The card is so good. It's on the brink of Sixth Sense good. Like, Sixth Sense is good now because it's that broken, because you're either milling or drawing a million cards, so you're good either way. In the meta now, where how fast things are, just Sixth Sense would be played in everything. It doesn't matter. But Card of Last Will is one of those also where it's played in everything. And just a stat change or a stat reduction, draw until you have 5, that just means you can completely overextend and not care. It's too much. There's too much capability for the card. I think it'd be hilarious for it to be legal even for a day, but that's just me. Point is, about this video, is it also said that cards from Marik Ishtar's deck would be included. Now, I recently fulfilled a Marik order in Orica, and the thing is I realized while I was doing it, there's a lot of cards in his deck that have never seen the light of day. A bunch of them I haven't included in this video, at least yet. I'm probably going to grab them while we go. But certain ones aren't really worth mentioning because they aren't technically like in a capacity to be played in any type of format. But there are certain ones that kind of shone when I was making it, and most of them are spell and trap cards. You know, they don't make any sense, you know, like back then to even be potentially legal. But there are cards nowadays that, you know, make those cards look like crap. So why wouldn't they potentially take an opportunity to make these cards legal for tournament use for the first time in years, where the cards always thought, well, you know, it's too good, it's that good, it can't really be real, there's no way they'd really make that card. And unfortunately, you know, the way the game's going now, I mean, Judgment Day just broke all bonds. You know, the Dragon Rulers have too many options. There's about 100 different things that can be done, and nobody really seems to want it to happen. There's 3 cards in particular that I'm going to bring up. The first one is one that I think, well, Card of Last Will, obviously, that got made. But the first one is called Dark Spell Regeneration. Sorry about the last video where I couldn't remember the name. Dark Spell Regeneration is one of those cards that if Konami wanted to make sure that spellbooks would be that broken forever, they would make this card real. Dark Spell Regeneration is also one of those that you would play in 3s, no matter what, in any deck you ever built, all the time. Because, unless you're playing Gallus FTK maybe, where you don't play any spells, Dark Spell Reclamation, or Dark Spell Regeneration is a simple spell card. You never want to draw 2, but the effect is simple. You activate it, you banish from the deck 2 copies of it, and banish it, and you add any spell from the deck to your hand. It seems retardedly broken, but the way that I view it, at least in my personal opinion, is that you're getting a plus by thinning your deck, but you're also compromising a minimum of 3 spots in your deck. You have to use 3 spots. There's no other options. You can't not, because if you do, then the card's effect fizzles, because you can't activate the card. On top of that, if you have 2 in your hand, you can't utilize it. If you have 3 in your hand, you can't utilize it. And because it banishes them from the deck directly, you have to play another card, like you have to technically play 2 cards to be able to maybe, or 3? No, I don't even know. I don't know if the effect is actually accessible again in the game if you play it once. Because by banishing 2, that means you'd have to play Burial from different dimension to put them back in the graveyard. After you put them back in the graveyard, you'd have to play Transmigration Prophecy to put these 2 back into the deck, but then you still have the one banished. So I don't even know if it's possible to fully utilize the effect more than one time in a duel, since Transmigration Prophecy is limited, and on top of that, so is the Burial. So to be able to use this effect more than once in a duel, you deserve to win the game. But Point is I don't know if it'll ever be legal because it lets you tutor any spell card, and any spell card is a big word in Yu-Gi-Oh that they want to avoid. So, Dark Spell Reclamation or Dark Spell Regeneration. If this card's printed, I wouldn't be surprised, but it might follow through with the same thing as a Card of Last Will. Another card that I wanted to bring up is technically a quick play effect veiler, sort of. It's called Class System. One of those cards that has really interesting art from the anime that doesn't really make sense with the whole Yu-Gi-Oh universe. But the point is it's a quick play that says if a monster's effect is activated and you control a monster with a higher level than the monster that activated the effect, negate the effect and negate the effect. It doesn't destroy, it doesn't do anything like that, but in short, how it works is simple. It basically says I don't know how it would be ruled, but like an Exceed has no level, so because it doesn't have a level, this would stop any Exceed's effect, no matter what. And it would also stop anything that was low level. So you'd be able to like have a level 7 monster, flip this when they summon Piper, negate Piper, and now Piper sits and can't do anything but tribute himself, but he has no effect. So I think Class System will be a cool card to be included. Other cards that have been considered are stuff like Plasma Eel, that essentially, how it was depicted in the anime, it equipped to an opponent, so you might be able to make it into a spell or trap card that just inflicts 500 damage every turn. The always popular, for some reason, Holding Arms and Holding Legs, which have no discernible text online except that they prevent an opponent from activating cards while you control both, like on your turn, and Sacred Stone of Ojat that allows you to special summon a monster for free if you control 2 monsters that are binding the opponent. All these are interesting things. Another card, there's like 3 or 4 in here. Let's see if we can find it. I forget exactly what Zombie's Jewel does, but I do know that it had something to do with resurrecting monsters constantly, something like that. Other cards that have interesting artwork, Tribute Burial. Tribute Burial involves something about you could tribute summon a monster by banishing your opponent's monsters, kind of like a soul exchange, but by banishing monsters from their graveyard. At least that's how I remember it. Joyful Doom, I forget. But these are all cards that Marik did play in his duels with Joey and Yugi. This one, Left Arm Offering, though. This one's pretty cool. To my knowledge, Left Arm Offering stated that by giving up the right to play any cards until your next standby phase, or something like that, you were allowed to draw until you had 4 cards. So it's another insanely powerful draw card that Marik had access to, but these are all cards that are very interesting and would be a cool way for Yu-Gi-Oh to push out those cards that had never been made. Just like Harpy Lady Sparrow formation, people are saying, please, these are cards that make sense. These cards are really cool. Why can't we use these? And they were all from the anime. I personally want to see Valen's cards, the armor cards that nobody has ever seen the light of day with, even on DevPro. So anyway, what are your thoughts? I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh news, obviously we got some cool stuff coming. This Blue Eyes is going to be pretty boss when we finally get it. So if you have any suggestions for other videos, let me know. Comment, rate, subscribe, all those other things, and have a nice night, guys.